Hello students, this is Dr. Newmark and I am presenting your data visualization project for English 2220. This project has been revised this semester to be specifically responsive to data as used to represent the COVID-19 pandemic. So we're going to use our developing knowledge about statistical visualizations of data and the principles of design and effective graphical communication in technical communication to combine together to tell a story about COVID-19 using visual representations of data. So what I'm showing right now on the screen is our Learn site, and I have pulled up the data visualization project assignment. You'll see that this is listed in the left-hand sidebar, and when you pull it up, there's a link to the assignment itself. When you get to the assignment, you will see a 3-page PDF that includes all the information that you need about this assignment, and I'm going to go through it in this video. What I do need to tell you is I don't have any previous examples of student projects for this assignment since it's a brand new assignment. So hopefully this explanation in this video will be enough so that you feel confident completing all of the components of this assignment. It's also important to note that in the course calendar, here we are in week 5, you see that the data visualization presentation and project is assigned. I have removed the presentation component from this assignment. Even though I've taught this online in the past and I have had a presentation component, I've removed that from this assignment this time. So in the course calendar, you will see presentation mentioned on a few different occasions, like when the draft is due and when the final draft is due, but please disregard that word. It is just a visualization assignment that includes a memo and an infographic, which I'll talk about more in a minute. So here is the assignment itself. Historically also this has been a group assignment, but for this semester we're doing this as an individual assignment. So as I said in the beginning of this video, the purpose of this project is to exercise your skills in understanding data visualization, to practice skills in visual rhetoric relative to numerical and statistical data, and to work on extracting from large data sets smaller usable subsets that can be visualized for specific target audiences. We've been studying audience and purpose already this semester for the first 5 weeks, and we're going to put that into play in conjunction with work with data visualization. So you are going to create 2 deliverables in this assignment, a 2-page single-space descriptive analytic memo, which is worth 60 points, and a cumulative information graphic. I'm going to not read every word of the assignment in this video because you can do that on your own. But basically, you have to do a lot of background research before you can write your memo. The first body of research you're going to look at is statistical data. That is data that comes across in a spreadsheet or a table that is very unembellished. So here is one example. This happens to be item 2 on this first list. Now this is a website that aggregates data by state and it is updated daily. When you get to that second link, you will pull up a page. This is a Google Sheet, and then you're going to click on US Current, and you can also click on States. You can click on any of these, and you can see all of this data in a very sort of basic tabular format. Now, the first link in the assignment will take you to Our World in Data, and that resource looks like this, another spreadsheet, and it goes country by country. As you can see, we've got Afghanistan, and it goes all the way down alphabetically through all of the countries. So you look at this, and you might say to yourself, well, this data is not presented in a very usable way for lots of folks because they're not data scientists. They might not know how to slice and dice this data for use by a particular subset audience. If you look, however, at the second group of resources here on this page, you will come to engage with data visualization. So the first one I want to show you is the Johns Hopkins University COVID Resource Center. They have a ton of data. I don't know if any of you in your own experience have been looking at this website, but it includes all kinds of visualizations and tracking tools, from data maps to line graphs. So I want you to look around on this website. The next one mentioned in the assignment is from New Mexico, the New Mexico Department of Health website, and this is our state's COVID tracker. And you can see that they have some text boxes that identify the number of cases, they have some tables, and they have lots of hyperlinks to additional information. So that is the second one I want you to look at. The third one is another nationwide COVID tracker. This is by COVID Act Now. You see that they have a data map, and then they have a table down here with several other more narrative styles of conveying data listed down below. And all of this is interactive, so you can click on these for more information. Now, this second part of the assignment, where you have to look at these interactive data visualization websites, I'm also asking you to find 2 more of your own. So you would do a Google search for COVID data website, COVID tracker, and you would want to find 2 more that you think do a good or at least an interesting job of synthesizing large amounts of data in a way that is visually engaging to an audience. So the first part is to analyze these 2 styles of representing statistical data. The next thing you're going to do is you're going to write a 2-page memorandum. And just a good note is what I have written to you in the assignment is in memorandum format, except for the header. You'll need to look up standard memorandum header formatting. But you will want to have major section headings and, in fact, bulleted lists, perhaps numerical lists and subheadings in your own memorandum. So you're going to write a 2-page memo. And in that memo, you're going to show me that you can analyze both numerical and embellished data, as well as data visualization. You're going to start your memo off with a purpose statement. So right after your memo header, you're going to have a purpose statement that says explicitly, the purpose of this memorandum is to, and you need to come up with a purpose statement. Then you'll have a first section that will have its own heading, and you're going to frame the data that you're discussing in the memo in our current historical moment. Why is it important to look at this data right now? And why has this become such a substantial phenomenon? Obviously, we all know the answer to that, in that we're in a pandemic. But you might want to hone in on a tighter audience, for example, the University of New Mexico or our city, or if you don't live here in New Mexico, you might want to focus more on your own community. I want you to read this descriptive assignment prompt word for word. There's a lot of detail in here. You want to also, in the first section, name the resources that you're going to be discussing in the body of the memo. In your second section, this is the deeply analytic portion. You're going to be analyzing the design decisions in all 7 examples. The 5 I've given you plus 2 you have chosen. You're going to want to be sure, and this is an item on the grading rubric, that you are using terminologies derived from chapters 5 and 12 in your book and from the Edward Tufte readings. Please read everything here and make sure that you take care of all of that. The third section gives you an opportunity to assess whether there are any improvements to these visualizations that you might propose. Is there some sort of metric or some sort of phenomenon that is not conveyed in any of the data visualizations you have seen? Is there anything you'd like to know more about? You might propose that that is something that is missing from those visualizations. And the fourth section is the concluding section, where you will sort of zoom back out from all the fine-grained analysis you were doing and connect all of this discussion of data visualization in the COVID-19 era to the work that technical communicators do. Please read my note here about strategies for succinctly and in a way that is easy to understand composing your paragraphs in this memo. The next part of this assignment is the data visualization information graphic. So you are going to be creating a 1-page informational graphic called COVID-19 and Me by the numbers. You're going to use at least 4 different styles of statistical data display. That could be a table, a line graph, a bar chart, a stacked bar chart, a data map. There's so many different kinds that are discussed in your textbook. You're going to listen to this video, and then you are going to think about how has COVID-19 impacted your own behaviors, the frequency with which you do certain things, various other activities that used to be sort of mundane for you that now have become exceptional. So you're going to represent those things in a data visualization. One thing that I was thinking that I might represent is a bar chart that shows how many miles I used to drive in my car per week pre-COVID and how many I drive on average now, trying to find some national data that suggests that, just so we can see the contrast in my individual life before and now, and a national standard before and now. Those just show the stark impacts of this pandemic on daily behaviors. There's other things that you could try to visualize in a data representation, such as how do you distribute your activities throughout the day? You used to spend 30% of the day on this, 20% of the day on this, 15% of the day on this. Have those ratios of how you've dedicated your day to different activities changed in a pre-COVID time versus a time while we are living with the pandemic right now? So what I did in order to think about how I would do this is I did a Google search for COVID infographics. And as you see, so many of these come up and they're really interesting, but what I chose to highlight for you all in this video is ones that use some of the visualization types that are discussed in your textbook. So I just scrolled down and picked some out. Here's one that says what the new normal will look like. You see you have some visual representation, some call out text with different color text to highlight words, some percentages of what people will do in the future, a bar chart, a horizontal bar chart, again, more, and some pie charts down here, more statistical call outs, and then a sort of infographical representation of distributions between people. So this one is really interesting. So this would be a single page infographic, all of this on one page. Here's another example, COVID-19 technology challenges and priorities. Again, a bar chart, a pie chart, lots of statistical information, along with symbolic representations of different activities, technologies, behaviors. Here's the last one I'm going to show you. Oops. Here it is in a larger format. You have, again, a bar chart, pie charts, and a data map. This is Italy, and you have a table. This one is really pretty simple. Now, you're probably thinking, how on earth am I going to design such a thing? I'm not a graphic designer. I'm not a data scientist. How am I going to do this? Well, as you'll see in the assignment, there are a lot of tools that make constructing something like this relatively easy for a novice. I named some technologies in the assignment that you can use for free to play around with creating something like this. If all of that is completely beyond you, you can hand draw or sketch or use just a different illustrating software program to sketch out what you would represent if you had the know-how to do it in a very sophisticated way. But I think if you use Adobe Spark or Infogram or Pictochart online, these free tools, you should be able to come up with something that approximates an infographic that represents COVID-19 and me by the numbers. So this assignment basically has two parts. They are related to each other in terms of their topic, which is COVID-19 and data visualization. But the memorandum is about analysis, and the infographic data visualization component is about application. I hope this video has been helpful to you in teasing out some of the details of this assignment, and I'm really excited to see what you guys produce.